Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining October's Outdoor Florida webinar. This month, we are celebrating Greenways and Trails Month, and we will learn about Florida's Gulf Coast Trail from Program Director Charles Hines. Charles has been practicing law in Sarasota County since 1990 with extensive work in land development, commercial property issues, and business law matters. Charles is passionate about building healthier, more equitable communities across the state. At the end of Charles's presentation, we will have a question and answer portion, so please submit your questions into the chat box and we will get to them after the presentation. Here is a short video clip for you all to watch before Charles gets started. Alrighty, I saw that some of you weren't able to hear that very well, so we will have the link for this available after the presentation. So Charles, if you wanted to go ahead and share your screen, you may begin.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can see that. All right.
I can't see the presentation yet. Did you share screen?
Yes.
Let
me try it again.
Okay.
Share. Document. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay. It was one more button. Sorry, everybody. You got it now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, great way to start. But good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking your time to join this webinar, and I really appreciate the partnership that we have with DEP and the Office of Greenways and Trails to be able to present to you the Florida Gulf Coast Trail. So obviously, by you all being here, you have an interest in trails, and I hope you learned something new today. I hope you can, through your questions, teach me something or our conversation, because our whole goal here from the Trust for Public Land is to connect people to the outdoors. And we've been in Florida for over 50 years and have done probably over 450 projects across the state. And the Florida Gulf Coast Trail is a big one. Why we're here, again, to connect people to the outdoors. And we really believe trails are a really good way to do that, to connect people to public space. And we had done some rail corridor acquisitions and land conservation deals with state and local government. But about 3 years ago, our organization said we need to be here every day. And so we created the Florida Gulf Coast Trail program within the Trust for Public Land. And so I have the honor of being the person here every day and working with a lot of you to really get this trail completed. So the video, I had trouble hearing it as well. Here, we can send this to you, or it's on YouTube. Just go, Google the Florida Gulf Coast Trail and you can see it. It's a really good video that we put together probably 6 months, 8 months ago. Picture tells 1,000 words. So really, if any of you all take it, use it. If you have a presentation with any of your local, state, federal government, your private partners that you work with about trails, please use it because it's good and it explains a lot of what's done and what needs to be done. So my goal today is to give you some background if you don't know about it, but what is the Florida Gulf Coast Trail? And then maybe talk about some issues that are going on with the trail, where we are today and where we need to go, in my opinion, and then open it up to some questions for you all. So what is the Florida Gulf Coast Trail? Well, here's a map that shows it, and it's a state designated trail going from Tampa, St. Pete, all the way down to Collier County. And then we'll hook up with the Paradise Trail in Collier County and keep going from there. And then same thing north up through Pasco County and then the Coast to Coast Trail. So this is an important cog in this overall state trail system. And so 420 miles, every time we update the map, that number changes a little bit. When we updated the map with Ops, Greenways, and Trails, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, it went from 360 to 420. So, we keep realigning it to get to areas that are a little more feasible, both from logistics and cost. So there'll be another map update here in a year or so, and there may be some more changes as well. So as you can see, I always say about 40 to 50% of it's complete. And we have, 7 major counties, big urban areas where there's a lot of growth and trails are desperately needed. And so there at the bottom, what's the biggest issue? It's too disconnected. We have a lot of nice local trails, but that's what they're seen as, local trails. And, one of the biggest things that I struggle with meeting with state officials or MPOs is, oh, well, I know about the Pinellas Trail or I know about the Legacy Trail. What's this Florida Gulf Coast Trail? And when you say, well, look, this is all big integrated system, it's just not put together yet. They start realizing that when it is, then we're really going to have something special. Why are trails needed? If you're on this call, you probably don't need to know this, but I think it's worth repeating because if you're preaching the benefits of trails, one of the main things that local government, state government likes to hear is this trail will make their community safer. We have a lot of people in our community, and unfortunately, we're one of the deadliest places in the country. And of these top 10, look how many of them are in Florida. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, of the top deadliest counties in the country, are within the Florida Gulf Coast Trail system. So we got to change that. And one thing I would say is the partnership that we've worked with FDOT has really improved things. Their Target Zero program, they recognize that trails are a big part of this. We need to separate cyclists from roads. We have too many distracted drivers. That's old design where you put a bike lane next to somebody going 55, 60 miles an hour. All it takes is one little second or, distraction. You get hit with a mirror, you die. And I apologize if anyone on this call has had that happen to someone in their family, but sometimes that's what it takes to wake up elected officials to say, this is why it's important. And if you haven't seen FDOT's Target Zero video, where they ask somebody about how many deaths, would you accept? That's a very powerful video. And I would say use it in any of your conversations with anybody that questions the value of trails. Well, let me take a minute. I'm just going to hit each county and kind of highlight a couple things that are going on in each county. Obviously, there's more things going on, but here's some big ones. So Hillsborough County, if you're involved in Pinellas or Hillsborough County at all, you know the Howard Franklin Bridge. And you know that it's been under construction for a number of years. But what's awesome about this is when it has the trail incorporated in it. So you drive across it right now and you can kind of see where the trail is. And what's going to be incredible for Tampa and St. Pete and the overall trail itself is we're really close to having this kind of a loop that will go over the bay twice and take you to downtown Tampa, and then also the ability to get to downtown St. Pete. So I'm going to go to Pinellas County in a second. But so we got the Courtney Campbell. It's done. It's beautiful. We get the Howard Franklin. Then we'll work with Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa and try to, find a good way to get down to the Riverwalk, get down to the Hillsborough River, so that when people come in to watch a Bucks game and they say, well, the game's tomorrow, what can I do today? Well, let me rent a bike and get some exercise, enjoy the great outdoors of Florida. And I could do, I think when I calculated this loop's like 26 miles, it was like, whoa, can anyone say marathon? Can anyone say, those types of events that could occur? So that's coming, and that's very exciting. Here's just some renderings that from the FDOT website. If you guys want to go, just Google Howard Franklin FDOT and these come up. What I really appreciate that the design, it's more than just let's just build a bridge and move on. There's some thought that was put into this, and we realize that trails create a sense of place. And went ahead too quick. By creating these outcroppings and shade structures, now all of a sudden you can ride out, take a break, get a drink of water, watch some boats go by, watch some birds fly. And the other thing about trails is mental and physical health. And so go out with your family, slow down for a minute, breathe in some fresh air. And so having places like this are really key. So what I would suggest to you all is where you can help is when working with local government, state government, FDOT, just because the code builds the road this way, if there's a better way to do it, if we're at the table ahead of time, before it's built, in the design phase, these are the type of things that you can get. And that's where I say I believe things are changing for the positive about trails. So here's Pinellas County. Pinellas County's doing great. They're really close to having their own entire loop. So we know how successful the Pinellas Trail is. And here's the gaps in the Florida Gulf Coast Trail. Not too many, but going through urbanized areas, as we all know, is difficult to drop a trail in. And so we're working close with Pinellas County. Their planning organization, the state and local government, to try to accelerate this, because there's the Howard Franklin, there's the Courtney Campbell. And so this will be exciting times. This in and of itself, it will be an attractor for tourism. You can stay in the hotels, camp out at Fort DeSoto, and bring your bike, rent a bike, and ride this loop, or ride half of it one day and the other half the other day. That's something that Visit Florida and tourism wants to talk about. So the other thing that's going on now that's really exciting is the Courtney Campbell overpass that's being built. And this is a big project, but you have a nice trail on the bridge, but it was hard to get to, wasn't safe. So this will be a beautiful overpass. And if you go out there now, you can see it, it's under construction. So what's nice is we're not just talking about it anymore, things are happening. And when things like this get built, what it really creates is momentum. people will say, oh, I like that. Where's mine? And that's what it takes to move government to get funding is public support. Quickly to Manatee County. Manatee County's got a nice grant from Congressman Vern Buchanan a year or so ago to really study this area around Palmetto and their greenways and trail system. They're working on this to connect this up. That's a big urbanized area that the community got chopped up with overpasses and bridges from designs, I think, in the 60s and 70s, where there wasn't a lot of thought about creating connectivity between neighborhoods. So that'll help solve that. So that's an exciting thing that's coming. This is a possibility, and TPL is trying to work on this. Florida Power and Light has a rail corridor that goes out from pretty much Palmetto all the way out to Parrish and out to their power plant. There might be an opportunity to do a trail next to the rail along there as part of this segment. And rail corridors make nice trails. And I say that because there's not a lot of road crossings designed that way. And they're a little bit separated from urban development. So even though you're in an urban area, you can get a little removed and get a little peace and quiet. And this would ultimately be the connector up to Hillsborough County. So that's something I hope that TPL and Manatee County and Florida Power and Light and all of us can work on a little bit more this next year. Sarasota County. Sarasota County is very active right now. This is the Legacy Trail that Trust for Public Land was involved in a rail corridor acquisition. And the trail to downtown Sarasota opened up in 2022. And they're approaching 1 million riders right now on this trail segment. And so build it, they'll come, and they have. And so what that has resulted in is trying to fill in these gaps right here and these gaps down in what's called South County. This little blue piece right here is Nathan Benderson Park, world rowing facility, world championship quality. And so this segment right here out to Nathan Benderson Park is under works right now between Sarasota County and the city of Sarasota, and also a nonprofit that's the Friends of the Legacy Trail. I think for every county, what I would ask or suggest is make sure you have a great friends group that is the public support, the public backbone, working with local government to say, we support trails. And when this segment's done, it will connect out to Nathan Benderson Park. Phenomenal trailhead. Last week, if you didn't hear, but regionally you probably should have, is Mote Marine Laboratory opened their aquarium there at Nathan Benderson Park last week. So if anybody's looking for anything to do, this will be an incredible activity center for Sarasota County and Manatee County, because the line's right there. So for our region, and the trail coming right through there will be very special. So as I said, Sarasota County's active, and so is FDOT. This is one of the 2 overpasses that opened about a month ago, 2 months ago in Sarasota County. This is a state road, it's a Bee Ridge Road, and the FDOT, again, target 0. We can't have this 1 million people crossing this road a year. It's too much interaction with cars. It messes up traffic flow. And so FDOT's been great to say, well, look, if you bring the trail, you invest local money and you really believe in trails, then we'll work with you and get these overpasses. And then it's better for both, but better for everybody. So this was the grand opening, like I said, a couple of months ago. And, you know, what you see here is really a good group. Representative James Buchanan from the state, who's on the Greenways and Trails Council. You have folks from Sarasota County, the MPO, FDOT, and Louis Casiba, who's been a big supporter from the Friends of the Legacy Trail, that local group that has really helped us. So this is what I want to see in the next 3 years all along the trail system is ribbon cuttings. And we need everyone's help to get to that. This is that Nathan Benderson Trail project that's getting from the existing Legacy Trail out to Nathan Benderson Park. And what's nice about this is with cooperation with, again, the MPO, Office of Greenways and Trails, Sarasota County, and the city of Sarasota, we are able to do this with no land acquisition. And that's key because we all know that land costs a lot of money in Florida. And sometimes you don't always have a willing seller. So by realigning the trail, which was going to go down Fruitville, we were able to connect 1, 2, 3, 4 publicly owned spaces within this just little short 3.5 mile, 3.2 mile segment. So you'll be able to go through the Bobby Jones Golf Course, which is the city of Sarasota, out to Nathan Benderson Park, and then just, sorry about that, connect back down to Legacy Trail and go to downtown Sarasota, or go to downtown Venice. Then this is what's next. Here's Nathan Benderson Park, and right now there's a design for an overpass that Sarasota County and FDOT are working on. The design's, I believe, done. So we got to raise money, find the money to build this. But what's good about this is that it connects Sarasota, downtown Sarasota, to Lakewood Ranch. And Lakewood Ranch is a huge planned unit, development community that's been going on. And that'll open up both sides to safely go across the interstate on a separated trail to the amenities that are in downtown Lakewood Ranch and into Nathan Benderson Park. Charlotte County, real quick. The main one in Charlotte County that we're looking at right now, actually two, is to connect to Sarasota County. And so Charlotte County MPO and the county commissioners are really looking through this Gulf Cove, this is a better map, to connect up. And this is a state forest, Myakka State Forest, again, connecting up people to the outdoors, connecting people to the outdoors. So publicly owned green space, beautiful park. What I'll say is underutilized and not really well known, but it's right on the Myakka River, the state's scenic and wild Myakka River. So to have canoe or kayak launches all along this river, it would be something really special for all the residents in Charlotte County and visitors that come here. And I'll go back to this one. This area right here is Welland Park, one of the fastest growing communities, this side of River Road in the country. It's the home of the spring training facility for the Atlanta Braves. And they have a really nice, unique downtown that they've built up. So these connectors are coming. This is North River Road. It's under construction now, and the trail is there. This is South River Road. It's been designed, and the trail incorporates it to take you to little downtown Inglewood. And then also not to, the Rays spring training facilities kind of right here along this area. And so you take your bike and go to spring training baseball. Nothing better than that. Jumping down to Lee County. Again, we have, Lee County is a good example of this. Here's some nice little trails. John Yarborough Trail, nice trail, but it doesn't really get you to downtown Fort Myers, and it doesn't get you to Bonita Springs or Estero. So what do? We have Cape Coral. Cape Coral is a huge area with a lot of residents, but where can they go? They're stuck. So we're working on connecting these up. There's currently a study going on by the Charlotte MPO to get to downtown Fort Myers. So when the trail's there, where's it going to cut through? What's the best road? What's the best route? And so there's a lot of public input on that that's going on right now with the feasibility study to pick the best route. And that'll take community involvement because not everyone understands the benefits of trails coming through a downtown. And so we got to take time to show them, no, this will really be a game changer for your community. And so that's happening now. This is the overall plan for Lee County to connect it up. And as you can see, there's some existing, there's some under construction, and there's some still in the planning. This is the Burt Trail, Bonita Estero Rail Trail that Trust for Public Land currently has under contract. And so we're working with Bonita, Estero, Collier County, somewhat Lee County, to acquire this rail corridor that would really be something special. Goes right through downtown Bonita Springs. Same thing with Estero and their future development that they want to do. And this would be something that people would come to just to ride, to be able to enjoy the amenities that are along it. You can see the green spaces that are here. And so hopefully we're lucky enough to put the money together to be able to complete that deal. And then Collier's kind of the same thing, bringing this trail down to Collier County. And then it would kind of hook over and come down here, or maybe come over at the top and get all these places connected. So I know I'm kind of repeating the same statements, but connectivity. And if we can start prioritizing these trails through either rail corridor acquisitions or FDOT projects, local government projects, and just say, look, the trail needs to go here. So when you're going to acquire right away, well, let's require 12 more feet, 15 more feet. Let's separate this trail and create something that is really special for our community. So these are some of the issues. I think I've mentioned them throughout that we have to deal with. Land cost, communities not yet recognizing the benefits of trails, and that's all just education. And then limited funding. Again, advocacy. We got to prioritize projects. What do we put it toward? Do you just build another road that might move somebody 2 minutes quicker to Publix or the doctor's office? Or do you create a trail that brings a whole lot of other benefits to a community? I want to slip this in here in that, y'all, if you don't know about Trust for Public Land, one of the also things that we are nationally recognized for and are experts in is helping local government raise that money. How do you do it? So we have done many, many ballot measures across the country, working with local government to fund parkland, land conservation, and trails. And that's what they did for us when I was a county commissioner in Sarasota County, is they ran a ballot measure for us, and we created a local tax that purchased the Legacy Trail and also funded its construction. So if any of y'all are in local government and you need some help or advice on how to be successful in passing these ballot measures, please talk to us. So one other thing unique about the Florida Gulf Coast Trail, when I started getting involved with this, was not many people had heard of the Florida Gulf Coast Trail. They knew of their local trails, but they didn't know about this trail. Well, one thing it didn't have is it didn't have any branding. So along with the Office of Greenways and Trails and Trust for Public Land, a couple years ago, we did a logo contest, and this was the winner. And what was nice, it was a local person from Sarasota County that did it. And so now we're getting our logo out there. And that's another thing that we've done is in April, we created the Florida Gulf Coast Trail Alliance. And the Office of Greenways and Trails was very helpful to say, an alliance of partners, trail supporters, stakeholders can be very helpful in accelerating funding for the trail. And that's what happened with the Coast to Coast Trail. So we've had 2 meetings. They've been informational. Thank you for joining the meeting, and here's who we are and here's where things stand. And so we have our 3rd meeting on November 8th. It's virtual, and we'll have some speakers from different areas within the region and also in the state. I think the Office of Greenways and Trails is going to talk about their Trail Town program. And so please join, and please, bring people in, because if you love trails, it'd be nice to be able to, when we go to an advocacy position with local or state government, to say, we have a pretty good alliance here that are a diverse group of people that say fund the trail. So this is exciting news. About 2 weeks ago, Sarasota County was the first county on the trail to actually put the logo and the name Florida Gulf Coast Trail on the trail. So at the bottom there it is. It's very simple. It was not expensive. So if any of you all work for any of the other 6 counties, give me a call because we can get you a deal on these placards. And I would sure love for you guys to start putting it up as we start connecting this together. People start going, well, what is this Florida Gulf Coast Trail? Where does it go? Oh, how can I help? And how can I be involved? So as I just said, all of us working together and connecting millions of people to the outdoors is something very special for Southwest Florida. And there's lots of ways that you can help. And no matter where you are, if you're in state government, local government, you like to ride bikes or go out walk in on trails, we could use your help. So I'm almost done here, but let me show you some quick pictures of the segments of the trail that exist now. And I'm doing this so you can just understand how trails create a sense of place and connectivity and really create neighborhoods. Here's an example. All these apartments were recently built in downtown Sarasota. And this is Payne Park, nice big park. They got nice tennis courts and the tennis courts were used. This area really wasn't used that much. So now all this is built up. People live here, get on the trail, ride to downtown Sarasota, they can ride to work. And then they have this big, beautiful park right next door that the trail is part of. So again, a sense of place and pride when you see these trail amenities that people can really adopt. Again, you just need some quiet space, go out, ride this segment of the trail, stop in this little outcropping and watch some boats or folks go by literally, and this is the truth. I was out on this segment 2 weeks ago and a manatee and a baby, a mom manatee and a baby manatee went right under here. And it was really beautiful. This is Sarasota, beautiful walk over the Ringling Bridge. Not as near as big as Howard Franklin, but think about all the runners and bikers that are going to be on the Howard Franklin here pretty soon. And another beautiful open space. And then that's just another image of what will be coming to Nathan Benderson Park. So thank you. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you got some new information. And please don't hesitate to contact me or Trust for Public Land. Easiest way, Google Florida Gulf Coast Trail. And website comes up and it shows you a lot of things that are going on and a lot of information. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to address you all today. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Charles. It looks like in the chat we don't have any questions. That was a very informative presentation. I'm putting the link to the video at the beginning in the chat box. So if anyone couldn't hear it, they can go ahead and watch it there. And that wraps up today's webinar. Thank you again for the wonderful presentation. A recording of today's webinar will post to our site once it's available. Make sure you join us next week for paddling, or next month for Paddling Sports Month. And if you have anything you'd like to present, please contact us at Office of Greenways and Trails at floridadep.gov. Thank you, everyone. Bye.